everyone, it's Emily Fox. Today's video is going to be week 2 in my reading challenge for February, which is essentially 1 week, 1 shelf. I put all of my shelf, well, most of my shelves in this magical, amazing jar, and every week I will pick a different shelf that I will be only able to read the books from all week long. And since my bookshelves are divided by genre, it means a specific genre every week for February. Last week it was classics, which I will link down below if you are curious to see me struggle reading classics for a whole week. And this week it shall be, it's very dramatic, bookshelf number 16, which is this one. So I will bring you in a second so we can look at it from up close, but it's mostly hard sci-fi, which, you know what, I'm okay with it because I adore sci-fi. It's one, if not my favorite genre, and I'm trying to make all of you read more of it. But hard, complicated, especially this, all of these are like classic ones. They're very slow and a lot of them are quite big, but I don't think this is the worst shelf of those. I feel like this would have been worse. So number 16, let me bring you closer so we can pick some books. So this is the beast. This is bookshelf number 16. You might notice there are technically 2 holes here, there and there. That is because I have some books over there for some reading challenges. So I have book 2, which is Children of Ruin, and then I have book 1 in this series that are over there. I don't know if I want to read those or not, but these are the books I have. I'm not sure I want to read any of the classic ones because they're usually more slow paced, and there are so many other ones that I do want to read. If I had to give you a number, I probably have read 25% of the books on this shelf, so it's not too bad. For example, I have read No, Yes, 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 No, No, Yes, No, No, Yes, No, 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 Yes, and all no's. So kind of gives you a little bit of an idea of what I have read on this shelf. And you know what? The first one I want to do, absolutely, I think I'm going to go with this one, which is Three Body Problem. Let me grab it. So as mentioned, it was on this shelf just because it is part of my 20 books I want to read in 2020. So I guess it's a one bird, 2 stones. One stone, 2, oh my god, what is it in English? It's the same thing in French, but my brain is like dying right now. 1 bird, 2 stones. There we go. Took way too long. It is a hard sci-fi, and it is First Contact with Aliens, which is one of my favorite premises ever, and I am in a huge kick right now, so I have to read this. You know what? Let me just pick the books, and then I can talk to you in front of real camera. So that is my number 1. I could pick up the second book here, but I think I'm going to keep it for a different challenge. Plus, it's a big one. It's like 600 pages, so might be a bit much for 1 week. So let's look at this little pal. I really want to read some Le Guin, but her books are kind of big and slow. Like, they're not that big technically, but they take a while to read. I have read this one and it was kind of long even though it is short. So what do I want to read in here? I think I want to read this one because I have never read this, and this was part of the 19 books I wanted to read in 2019, and I have yet to read it. So really, this is a sign. Let me grab this. What else? I could read this one, but I kind of want to keep it to only hard sci-fi because this is probably not considered that. But this one might be, which I have only read one more thing by this author, so maybe this is the time. You know what? I would pick something else, but knowing how I've done in the other challenge for the classics, I don't think I'm going to have more time. I kind of want to read one of these, but I don't think I'm gonna have time. So let's stop it here. Okay, let's start with 3 books because realistically, I'm not sure how many books I can read in a week. I have only read 2.5 for the classics that I've done last week. So let's talk. There you go. Emily's back now. The 3 Body Problem. Like I said, First Contact with Aliens, which I have been told so many times to read this book because it's one of my favorite premises, and apparently this is going to be a book I give 5 stars to, which please, I need this in my life. I have read so many disappointing books so far this year. I had read actually the first chapter in a try a chapter book tag. Essentially what you do in that tag is you read the first chapter of 5 books and then you choose which one you want to continue. And this one, the first chapter, is so heavy. Oh, actually, I still have it open right there. It's so heavy. It feels very historical fiction in China during the Cultural Revolution. So it's very heavy, and I had other books in that challenge that were so much faster to read and I was just more in the mood for, so I never continued. but I have the audiobook of it, and I think that might help me push through until it picks up. So we're gonna see if I do read it the whole time as an audiobook or not, but I do tend to read one audiobook a week, so it could be the one I do read this week. I'm very, very excited with this one. So, plus if I enjoy that one, I do have the whole trilogy, as you saw on my shelf, so I could binge read the whole thing, which would be awesome. And then we had the 2001 A Space Odyssey. I have never seen the movies, never read the book, never heard actually anything about this, and it is such a classic. Everyone knows what it is except me. It has only 235 pages, so it is doable for me to read this in a week. Hopefully I do enjoy it too, but it has been on my list of books that I want to read for the longest time, so I think this week might be the week. And then last but not least, if I do have time, which fingers crossed I do, the third one I would attempt to read this week would be The End of Eternity by Isaac Asimov. And as I mentioned, I've only read I, Robot by him, and I did enjoy it. I mean, Vivipa, I did compare it a little bit to the movie, which is completely different, but I did see it as, you know, the foundation of what sci-fi is today, so I overall liked it anyway. I don't remember what this was. I knew what it was, and now I can't remember. I thought this was related to time, but I might be wrong, but again, I might not have time to get to it, but let's stay positive, Emily. Maybe you can. Also, if I do finish this one as an audiobook or don't enjoy it, I do have the one I didn't finish last week that I might be able to again. Or maybe I will find something else on my library waiting list or online if they have anything available. So maybe I can read other stuff too, but this is my TBR so far, these two books, definitely. Let's get to work. I did not finish a book yet, but I need to talk to you anyway because I am about 43% into this book. We are day 3, Work Tuesday, and holy, I am absolutely adoring this, which is, finally, I feel like I haven't loved a book this year yet, and this so far is going so well. I am actually listening to it as an audiobook, at least mostly, and it is perfect. However, I don't recommend it unless you can really focus on it. I've been catching myself not listening to it whenever I have to do other stuff at the same time, so I only do it whenever, you know, I'm walking to the bus stop, on the bus ride, you get it. Let me actually just sit. I'm so in love with this book already. I can already just tell that I'm going to give this 5 stars. You know when you read a book and you just cannot put it down? And even last night, in the dark, in my bed, I was listening to it as an audiobook. I'm using Libby to listen to them, the app, and you can link it to your library and just get audiobooks that way. And it lets you choose how many minutes you want to listen to it, and then you can choose until the end of the chapter, which is what I did. And I just kept catching myself pushing it back one more chapter because I just wanted to keep going, which so rarely happens, and I adore this so far. Like I mentioned, it was First Contact with Aliens, and the first chapter had been kind of slow, and it really picks up, and it just seems like it's going to be so interesting. I adore the scientific kind of physics concept that they talk about, and just, you know, possible first contact with aliens, and I just want to keep going and finish this. I have not started anything else because when I do have time to sit down and read, I just pick up the book and read it because I don't care about anything else. This is the one I want to read, which is amazing. It's not a feeling I've had in a really long time, and I just needed that in my life right now. So this is amazing. I highly recommend it, even though I'm only 43% into it. I will be finishing this very soon for sure. So like I said, I'm 43% into it. I did listen to the audiobook of Frankenstein a little bit more because, like I said, I only read this one whenever I'm like, I can fully focus on it. I'm so excited I can't talk. So I did read 13% more into Frankenstein, so I'm now at 63%. And I think I'm about to finish the narration of the monster because damn, I cannot deal anymore. But it doesn't matter because I have this also in my life. Eventually, I need to pick up 2001, but it doesn't matter if I read nothing else this week because this is all I care about. Yeah. Can you tell I'm very excited? And the worst part, I think, is the fact that I cannot talk about it. Usually I announce on Goodreads the books that I'm currently reading, or if I'm super excited about something, I can tweet about it. But I can't right now because I'm keeping this a secret, which I'm regretting completely right now because I want to rave about this. But I guess everyone can be excited whenever I am done and give it 5 stars, hopefully. So yeah, I'll see you in a day or two when I'm done with this. I actually haven't finished anything yet, but I wanted to update you because I need to talk, / it is Thursday, so I only have like 2 more days to finish books. So it's gonna happen, probably, but I mean, dude. I am 90% into this book according to the audiobook, and my mind is blown. I am loving this. I'm already telling you this is going to be 5 stars, as if we didn't know from my last update. But yeah, this is amazing. I'm enjoying this tremendously. It's very science heavy, but wow. But the good news is I did start this one. I am so not far though. Like, I'm gonna struggle to try and finish this week. But I'm currently at page 37. Not great, but 37. I really like actually the first part of it. I went into it knowing absolutely nothing about it, right? Like nothing. And the beginning is really different, not what I expected. Like, I knew nothing, yet you still have some type of expectations, because I read some, you know, a lot of like classic sci-fi, and they tend to be kind of slow, and the writing style is usually not my cup of tea, but I enjoy the concepts. But this one is kind of the opposite for the first part. It was super interesting because you're following, how to call them in English? Cro-Magnon. Back in the day humans, whatever. And it was interesting. I enjoyed it. But now I'm like starting part 2, so I have no idea where this is going. But I'm intrigued now. I do want to actually read it finally. So I will be trying to read this probably Saturday. Because tomorrow night is Valentine's Day, so I will pretend I have a life for a night and not read, but this is finished tomorrow, I'm telling you. Like, I'm gonna probably even tonight, maybe, and then I will start something else, which I need to check, because this I don't have the audiobook for it, so I will read the physical book as much as possible. Hopefully I can read 200 pages in a day. And for audiobook, I can't, damn, I need to stop doing updates on my phone. But I looked at my library, and they don't have audiobooks that are at least available from the books from the shelf behind me, which is the shelf that we had chosen, well, the jar had chosen for this week. So what I decided to do was to get something from another shelf, which now it's actually not there because I removed it. But I had Leviathan Wakes, which is still hard sci-fi, so we're cheating a little bit, but I mean, it still kind of counts. So I will start the audiobook of that one once I'm done with the 3-body problem. The audiobook, though, is like 20-something hours, so might not be able to finish it this week, actually, for a challenge, but I'll just complete it whenever afterwards. But at least I will have something else that is hard sci-fi to listen to. So that is my compromise for the next, day and a half that I will have to finish something else in this challenge. Okay, so that's gonna be it. I will update you this weekend once I am done with some books. Time's up. I have to stop reading sci-fi to start my next week challenge, what you're gonna see in a different video. But it means I am now done reading these books. So let me go back to where I'm at, what I thought about them, which ones I want to continue, which ones I did finish. When I finished was obviously the 3-body problem, which it is going to come as a complete shock, but I'm giving this 5 stars. No one saw that coming. This is absolutely brilliant. I adored it. It actually is kind of killing me that I have to wait at least 2 weeks to pick up book 2 because I have 2 of the challenges, because each week this month, again, I am reading a different genre, and I can't read this unless I pick sci-fi again, which I highly doubt, because it would have to be this specific shelf and it's not in the mug anymore. So, kind of bittersweet, but I absolutely adore this. Highly recommend it if you are someone that wants to get into the whole sci-fi first contact with aliens. But again, I don't think this is necessarily beginner friendly, but wow. Next, I had mentioned that I was reading 2001: A Space Odyssey, and I read only 2 more chapters. I'm at chapter 9. I have still 100 and something, 50 something pages left to read this. I did not finish it. I'm actually kind of disappointed because I am enjoying this. Like, part 1 was really good. I'm just starting part 2, so I still have no idea how I really feel about this. And I just didn't have time / took the time to sit down to continue. So I will be continuing it though. Like, I know I have again to put it down for 2 weeks at least, but I do want to read this before the end of the year. Otherwise I will, you know what, I think right away I will be putting it on my pile of shame. If you don't know what it is, I put books that I put down for no reason and didn't finish in a pile, and once in a while I force myself to finish a couple books because it's shameful. Not really, but kinda. So I think I might have to put this there because even though I just, you know, put it down, it has been on my TBR for so long. It's kind of shameful. So the good news is that I was picking up another audiobook since I was done with the 3-body problem, and I had picked up this one, which was kind of cheating because it wasn't on the same shelf, but you know, it was the one right on top, and it is still hard sci-fi, and it is Leviathan Wakes. And I am 20% into it, which means I'm over 100 pages into it, and so far I'm enjoying it. It is kind of still pretty early in this book since it has over 500 pages, so I feel like right now we've just like been introduced to a few different point of views, and there's been stuff that has happened in space, but like I can't really have an informed, you know, opinion on it, review still. With that said, it is good enough that I'm very curious to continue, which again, I kind of feel annoyed that I have to put it down and start other books because I kind of want to finish this. I do have the audiobook for a little bit more than 2 weeks, so I might have time to, you know, go through the 2 weeks of challenges and then try and finish this right in the beginning of March before it is returned to a library. Worst case scenario, I will read the physical book or get a loan again at the library. But yes, so far I am enjoying this. I do have to say, I usually don't read physical books and audiobooks at the same time that are very similar, usually because it can get confusing. And I felt like I was starting to have those feels with these 2 books because they're both currently happening, you know, kind of in space type of thing. But I guess since it was just a few days, it wasn't a big deal, but definitely something I didn't expect for this challenge. One thing actually I did want to mention about this one, I was kind of giggling a little bit because they were mentioning how, you know, there were too many people on Earth because there were 6 billion people, and I'm like, oh, we are so far from that right now. As far as the other books I thought I was going to have time to pick up, including this one, obviously did not have time since I'm still not done with the one. So overall, did I do good? Probably not, but especially because I'm really disappointed I didn't finish this one. But it's kind of hard to feel bad about the whole thing. Like I, you know, failed my challenge since I not only finished this one, which is 400 pages, 399, close enough. Because I gave it 5 stars, and I haven't given 5 stars to a fiction book in a real long time. It feels like at least 2 months at this point. So I'm okay with it. So this is going to be the end of week 2 in my 1 week, 1 shelf challenge for February. I hope you are enjoying this. This one was definitely more challenging, at least even more than last week, but at the same time it was more enjoyable, I think. What do you think? Are you going to try to do the same challenge? Let me know in the comment section if you have any opinions on the books I read / started. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up in support of me doing all of those reading challenges all year long, and subscribe because you definitely don't want to miss any future videos, and I will be putting some on the screen that I recommend you check out, and I shall see you in my next one. Bye.